I saw my hot wife slip off her wedding ring, and called her out, because I thought it might be a sign of her letting another man slip between her legs. I, 33 meters, have been married to my wife, 32 feet, for a little less than a year. However, we have been in a stable, exclusive relationship for 10 years and have been living together for 8. She is the love of my life. She proposed to me about 6 years ago. I said yes, but we ended up having to postpone our wedding several times due to our school schedules, venue cancellations, and so on. We have been wearing wedding bands ever since the proposal. 2 days ago, she came home from shopping and said that the cashier was hitting on her and possibly asked her out. I am not threatened by other men hitting on her since our relationship has a very strong foundation, and we usually find it comical. However, she mentioned that she did forget to wear her wedding band ring, and that's possibly why the cashier was flirtatious with her. Yesterday, we were planning on going to see a movie. As we were walking out the door, I noticed that she was not wearing her ring again. I asked, in an admittedly not pleasant tone, "So do you not wear your wedding ring in public anymore?" She was kind of taken aback and said no, she just forgot to put it on and went to put it on before we left. The rest of the day, things were a bit tense, but we ended up seeing the movie and thought we enjoyed it. However, once we got back to the car, her attitude clearly shifted. I asked how she was doing, and she said, "I have a headache because of you." She then explained how she didn't appreciate me bringing up her not putting on her wedding ring, that she's human and made a mistake and forgot to put it on. I was just like, okay, that's fine. But then she continued, clearly upset, saying that she's an attractive woman and she can't help if people hit on her and ask her out. I was like, okay, that's true, but if she was wearing her ring, that would probably prevent people from asking her. She said that the cashier probably wouldn't have seen it and would have asked her out anyway, and that she as a person is not defined by whether she wears the ring or not. We drove home in mostly silence, but she did apologize that she snapped at me in the car, which I accepted. I want to emphasize that we do not have any previous trust issues, and I am in no way insinuating that she has been intentionally not wearing her ring. This is also the first time I noticed it, which I probably wouldn't have if she didn't mention her interactions with the cashier at the grocery store the day before. However, I am a bit startled by how defensive she got in the car and don't really know how to process what happened. I'd greatly appreciate it if y'all could share any insights you may have regarding yourself or your partner not wearing wedding rings in public. Update 1. I think many people miss the whole context of my post, how we've been wearing wedding bands for 6 years. The wedding was postponed due to our grad school schedules, and our first venue canceled on us. It's clear that I absolutely used the wrong tone and wording when I asked her whether she doesn't wear the ring. I'm going to apologize for that right away. I've learned that most people don't wear their wedding bands. People keep talking about diamonds getting snagged, rings being bulky, and this whole thing is regarding simple wedding bands. That being said, we never actually established how we felt about wearing the rings, and I have just assumed over the years that we both wore them equally. I'm going to ask what her feelings are towards the rings. I honestly didn't know that not wearing rings was so commonplace, and I'm actually not totally against wearing them less. I am still worried about her defensiveness. I strongly do believe and hope that this was a product of the poor way I treated her prior to leaving the house. If it's something else, we'll have to play it from there. Update 2. There were many moving parts to the original post, and responses covered a wide array of topics. I ended up identifying the major themes of responses while trying to ignore extreme responses on either side. My main takeaways were that my passive-aggressive comment at the start of the day was uncalled for and likely overshadowed the rest of our date. This likely contributed to the tense and defensive word exchange later in the day. I also had no idea that so many married couples did not wear their wedding bands regularly or at all. My parents never took their rings off, and I figured that's how it was with everyone. Clearly, that is not at all representative of the diverse array of ring-wearing standards across individual relationships and even individual spouses. Finally, I suppose I was naive in thinking that wearing a wedding ring would deter people from hitting on my wife. When I was single, I would always double-check if there was a ring on someone's finger before pursuing. I think someone is a real piece of crap if they knowingly hit on someone that's married. Okay, finally here's the update. My wife came home from work, I work from home, and we sat down for dinner. I started the conversation first by apologizing for my tone and snarky question the day before. She said, "Thank you," and accepted. I then said that I was triggered hearing her tell me that she was hit on by the cashier and her explaining that it may have been due to her not wearing her ring. She asked me whether I wanted her to tell me when people flirted with her. I said sure, but it's up to you. I assumed that this happens frequently because she is so beautiful. We hugged it out. I then asked that I was curious why she got so defensive in the car after the movie. She said she wasn't feeling great and that she didn't like me insinuating that it was her fault she got hit on and that she sometimes forgets to put her ring on. I apologized again and acknowledged that even though we have been together a decent amount of time, we never actually discussed what we wanted the value of our rings to represent. I actually suggested that I'd be okay wearing them less if that was more comfortable. She said that no, she wanted to still wear them out in public, just that I need to understand that people forget things like this and it's normal. End of story. We are on good terms, and she thanked me for bringing the topic up again so we could work things out together. Thanks again for sharing your diverse perspectives. Taken individually, a decent amount of comments weren't super helpful. But taken as a whole, clear trends were uncovered, which I found incredibly useful. Special thanks to those who provided thorough responses and insights on their own marriage dynamics. Never thought this would have blown up, but I'm glad it did. Bye.